Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience.
All around you. And we're back with another amazing, glorious, very look forward to episode of the Filmistines, the fastest growing podcast in the galaxy.
The galaxy?
Yep.
Whoa.
Just this galaxy, though. We're not... Andromeda hasn't heard of us yet.
Oh, just this galaxy. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the Milky Way.
Oh, all right. My bad. Not as big then.
I'm joined today by my chicken nugget loving friend, Lucy.
Hello, everyone. I do love some chicken nuggets.
Me too. I love chicken nuggets. I love all chicken nuggets, to be honest. I love McDonald's chicken nuggets, but I'll eat whatever chicken nuggets you got.
That's true. I'm not chicken nugget picky.
Yeah.
Yeah, even your frozen nugs.
Frozen nugs are good too. Well, today we're talking about one of your favorite movies. Is it?
Yes.
It's a great movie. It's a iconic movie to the early 2000s. It's Chicken Run, where the chickens run and try to escape their concentration camp, their labor camp, sort of. Yeah, I guess they do work. They provide eggs. It's a weird movie. It's a very weird movie. Not unlike a lot of claymation movies, or stop motion in general, they seem to be weird very often, in a good way. This movie was made in 2000. This movie is 23 years old.
Damn.
This movie is before Shrek. This movie is before any of the good Pixar movies.
June. So sorry.
We just had its anniversary.
Yeah.
And you just told me that the sequel is coming out this year.
Yes, there's a sequel coming out December 15 this year. It's called Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. So,
okay.
Might be some nuggets there. Some chicken nugs. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of serendipitous for us to cover it, because we just randomly pulled this one out.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of random. It just got added to Netflix.
Sure, yeah.
Very recently, so I mean, maybe on its anniversary. I don't know, like last month.
Maybe there's something to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Random and the field of at the mercy of Netflix, because it wouldn't have entered our mind without popping up there. So
yeah,
that's true
for sure.
Yeah, it's what do you like about this movie? I know you've brought this up quite a bit over the course of me knowing you.
This was a movie that we had on VHS. We didn't have many movies on VHS. This was one that we played a lot. And I guess when we transitioned into DVD, we got it on DVD just because, it was a family movie that we all watched together all the time. And watching it again, I, completely went over my head as a kid. A lot of the, I don't want to say adult themes, but kind of. So it was cool seeing it again, because it had been a while since I'd seen it. I think just something about claymation in a film is pretty cool. It makes it stick out. First of all, there's not very many claymation movies, especially movies that are big, or make it to your DVD, make it to your home. So the the animation style really hits for me in this movie, and watching it again recently made me appreciate it a lot more, actually. And it's just a funny movie, especially to a kid. These are chickens; they're forced to lay eggs, and they just want to escape. They just want a better life for themselves. So it's a very feel-good, inspirational movie.
I agree. Yeah, this is one of those movies that was on rotation at my daycare. This, Monsters, Inc., Nemo. I feel like we watched the dinosaur show a little too often. That like sitcom dinosaur show.
Yeah.
Weird show, but it's an interesting show.
Isn't that an old show?
I think it's from the 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
Like,
my dad references that show.
It wasn't around very long, only a couple years, but I think it's from like 88 to like 92, somewhere like the dawn of the decade change. I think it's from where it is, which would make sense for your dad, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I would always ask him, "What are you referencing?" And he'd be like, "The dinosaurs." Like, and he'd say that really famous thing that I don't know, that the little baby says.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I don't know.
That show was disturbing.
That show was very I didn't even watch the show. I can visualize it in my head, and it looked very disturbing. Scooby-Doo is also a thing he liked to reference a lot too.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo's much older. The puppetry and everything, even today, is just, it's cool. It's very cool, but it's very weird to watch. You know, the Dark Crystal stuff, and of course, like the Muppets. It's weird stuff. Labyrinth. It's creepy.
One of the coolest things about this movie is the intro. I really like the intro.
It was fast. It was on point.
Yes.
Got to the point.
And there's really no dialogue. Nobody says anything. I guess Mrs. Tweedy? Tweed or Tweedy? I think it's Tweedy.
Tweedy, yeah.
She, I think her husband tells her, like, they're organized, or these chickens are organized. And she's like, no, you dummy. It's all in your head. And that's, like, pretty much it for the intro. For, like, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. Nothing. And then, we get the story, the background, and all of that. So, that was pretty cool. That was, now being or trying to be a film learner, a film appreciator. I don't know what you'd call me.
It's kind of critical thinker on films.
Yes. That was something I noticed immediately here, rewatching it. So that was cool. I like that.
I 100% agree. I think one thing I like about this movie is the length. It's 1 hour and 20 minutes, some change. And that's not very long. It's, that's a pretty typical length for an animated style movie. Until now, we're getting longer and longer animated movies, of course, now, but especially at the time. And it burns through this time. It's fun. It's, especially the intro, it's fun. Every scene is on point and important and leads into the next. It's just, there's no waste of time at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome. I think that's awesome. This movie's kind of hard to rate. I don't want to jump to my rating, but I probably am right now. This movie's hard to rate because it doesn't offer an awful lot as far as like what I can take away from this film, because I don't think it has a lot to say. I don't think it's really trying to say anything. I think it just kind of has a nice backbone of, labor camps and maybe a little bit of the Holocaust and what, where your food comes from. And it's just kind of a fun, pointy film in that way. Thorny film, I should say. And so it's kind of got that Pixar energy in some way, but it does hit in a lot of ways, because it's just, voice acting's good, animation's obviously awesome. It's the Wallace and Gromit guys. It's shot well. Like, the cinematography is pretty good, and the urgency to get out of there is awesome, and the reason they need to get out of there is even more awesome.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I think this movie, I don't think it takes any kind of stance on anything, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But I do think it tries to bring up some important points. It's a prisoner of war kind of movie. So they're trying to escape for a better life. So I guess I like that point of view from it. I like that one thing Mr. Tweedy keeps bringing up is that these chickens are organized. And they are. They're pretty smart. They're trying to, get out of there, and the way they go about that, it's hilarious and super clever. I like all the, tools that we see here, the spoon, the whisk, There was something else.
Their little devices that they make.
Yeah, their little devices. It's genius. I mean, it's so clever.
It's one of the really fun things that comes out of like the Wallace and Gromit guys. They have an act for really flexing. Like I don't know why, but it reminds me of like I Spy shit. Like there's just this weird imagination that's just so on point, and I don't see it anywhere. And that's one reason I like the Wallace and Gromit. I assume it's the same guys who are doing the Shaun the Sheep on Netflix.
Yeah.
Seems like Netflix kind of got their hands on that team, and they're milking them for all they're worth, and they're just it's got a kind of similar vibe going on. They're good. The Shaun the Sheep movies are good.
Yeah, I agree. I like those too. I mean, even she uses God even knows what those are called. It's like the
shoehorn.
A shoehorn?
That's what it's called.
Wow. Okay, never would have guessed that. But she has one of those to scrape Rocky out of the hole they put him in to hide him. So I mean that's even clever. And don't even get me started on the scene where Ginger's about to be cooked and made into a pie. That whole bit where we're essentially seeing the pie making process.
Mm-hmm.
And that's clever. That's so cool.
It's awesome. It's kind of got that Toy Story 4 energy or Toy Story 3 energy where they're going up in the trash chute thing, which is actually the worst part of the movie, I think, because it loses touch with how grounded Toy Story is.
Yeah.
And then this is, kind of the opposite of that in a good way, that it never really is grounded because you have from the get-go chickens trying to escape, and they're not something about Toy Story is they kind of really try to make these toys realistic, and they even work in the way that they have this creed and code to be toys when humans are around to stay, to become inanimate.
Mm-hmm.
And here there's no urgency to like pretend. They're just their only urgency comes from that they don't want to get caught.
Yes.
And because they are organized and they want to get out of there ASAP. And other than that, they're not really trying to work within the boundaries of being chickens. They're trying to get a better life.
They're trying to be smart.
Yeah. I do like that scene a lot. I think that's probably the most iconic scene to the movie, the pie making scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. It's so awesome. It makes it feel like the pie machine's big, which it is, which is cool because it is so just like this big ass piece of equipment that's all automated, and it's fun that it takes place in like the 50s or 60s when we have these like weird ass new pieces of technology coming out.
Yeah.
Your machines that can do everything. It can, I feel like that was a stereotype of the times. I'm not of the times from the 50s or 60s, so it's hard to say, but I feel like in TV and movies and stuff, you see that there's this device that does everything, and we do have one of those here in this movie, the pie making machine, which is awesome. It's weird they're calling them chicken pies, not chicken pot pies,
mm-hmm.
right? Is that an American, European difference or UK difference?
I have no clue. I didn't even know what a chicken pot pie was.
It's what you saw minus, or just call chicken pot pie instead of chicken pie.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You know how the Brits are.
The Brits, they've fucked up a lot of things, including language, especially language.
Yeah, I think that's another point that this movie's trying to make without taking a stance on technology, and especially when, I guess kind of maybe not technology, but especially when we see the billboard. She's trying to advertise. She's trying to make a business here. She's trying to get out of the rut.
These chickens are fucking her up.
And these chickens are fucking her up. She's just trying to have her life. She's tired of being poor. She's got this dumbass husband.
And before we know it, we're gonna have to give chickens rights.
It's funny you say that because I feel like chicken is probably the most consumed meat.
In the United States, I would guarantee it.
When did that start? In the 50s? I wonder if there's any kind of something here.
Maybe, because a lot of it's one of those things that so many things became huge during the dawn of commercialization, so it's kind of hard maybe to say. But yeah, fish, chicken, beef, those are the ones. Pork, of course.
Yeah, but I feel like chicken's bigger than those here in the U.S.
I think chicken is probably the biggest here in the States, yeah. I would guess fish is the biggest in the world.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But, yeah. And I would imagine that's probably because chicken is the easiest to grow. You know? They reproduce quickly. They get fat and juicy quicker than probably cows and pigs. They're probably easier to manipulate and move around, and they're probably easier to kill.
That's so sad. All right, let's move on. Let's go back to the animation.
I love chicken, especially when you fry that bitch up. I don't like chicken feet. I'm just gonna say it. I know a lot of the world likes chicken feet. I don't like chicken feet.
Yeah. I'm just sad now. Sorry.
No, but the animation is so slick, it almost feels a little CG. And I think that just comes from the expertise of the Wallace and Gromit guys. Because if you look back at the biggest animation, or the biggest stop motion film probably right before this, was probably Nightmare Before Christmas. I would guess. What is that, 1998, 7 maybe?
93.
Oh, wow, that's a little older than I thought. Okay. I would guess that's still probably the biggest.
That's not too old.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that old, but, as far as, like, stuff like this goes, 5 years difference, especially, like, if you have some kind of backbone or some kind of lineage in video game world, it's, the 5 years can make such a big difference when it comes to computer-generated images. Yeah. And just the expertise in whatever field, 5 years, it's crazy stuff. But that film feels very stop-motion-y. It feels very...
The Nightmare Before Christmas? Yeah. I personally don't think so. I don't feel it. No.
You don't feel it? Okay, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just the style then. Maybe there's something to that. Because this film feels very much smoother. And it feels more like Flushed Away, even. And Flushed Away is completely CG.
Yeah, no, if you put Chicken Run and The Nightmare Before Christmas side by side and you ask me to pick which one is stop motion, which, the answer is both, but if I had to pick one, I would definitely go to Chicken Run. I think that's the one that looks the most stop motion.
You think that has anything to do with the Wallace and Gromit guys just being the king of stop motion?
No, I think it's the movie itself. I mean, you look at the chicken themselves, and you can almost see fingerprints around the clay, and then you can see it disappear in the next frame or whatever you call that, and then it comes back, and then it disappears, and then it comes back, and it moves a little bit like that. Yeah. And it's so, I mean, you have to be looking for it, really. You know, it's not super noticeable. It's not, oh my God, that guy didn't erase those fingerprints from his clay there. I don't know. But I just think it's a lot more visible.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think.
And I mean, it's just really noticeable in the chickens, their beaks too. How their beaks move, I think, is a big giveaway to me. And do they have eyebrows? I don't know if they have eyebrows. But their eyebrow bone.
That's a good question. Yeah, no eyebrows.
Yeah, okay, so that, like, bone above their eye, kind of like eyebrows,
Yeah, the brow line, for sure.
Yeah, that's where I noticed a lot of that movement, too. So, I don't know. Also like how it's very, dirty and rusty looking. Kind of like a, POW movie would be. You talk about that in Sisu. You talk about that in Sisu, how the movie's really dirty. I mean, even the guy, after he showers, he's still kind of dirty. And I feel a lot of that here. Everything's just kind of grimy, kind of dirty. Even Ginger, when she's walking, after she's just been, in the hole, and Mr. Tweety kicks her with his boot, she has, like, a little, like, dirtiness on her butt for a bit there. So I like that. I like that aesthetic, I guess. The dirtiness.
Yeah, that is an aesthetic. That is an aesthetic. This movie is not aesthetic. The dirt is the aesthetic. No, and I think that helps emphasize, kind of labor camp type situation / it being, how like chickens are treated in the way they are kept. And they are, in a sense, one and the same. Chicken camps, chicken farms, and labor camps are kind of pretty similar, except we eat the laborers in a chicken farm.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that a lot too. That's a good point. Very good point. What do you think about the scene where they took that one chicken away?
Oh my gosh. I think if I would have seen this movie for the first time as I am now, as, sensitive as I've become and just kind of disturbed by the world, I definitely would have cried. Because I almost wanted to tear up. Oh my gosh, that was awful. Who puts that in a kid's movie?
I know, right? And they shot it so well. They took the chicken away. We see the shadow of Mrs. Tweedy, and then we see that Ginger sees it, and we hear it, and all the chickens hear the thump. It's good. It's good filmmaking right there.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part of the movie. Not that. Right before that happens. What's her name? Edwina. I even wrote down the chicken's name in memory.
It even had a name. That's awesome.
It had a name.
That's awesome.
Which I think we can talk a little bit about that in a bit, about how much characteristic some of these chickens had.
I feel like that reinforces the labor camp type thing.
Yeah.
Is that random chicken had a name, it had a life, it had, a family kind of thing.
Yeah. Reinforces
that labor camp type thing. Because a chicken wouldn't, a normal.
Right.
So.
You'd still be sad seeing. I don't know about you personally, because you're a savage, but seeing a chicken get his head cut off would still be sad. Even in a scene like that where we just see the shadow. But I guess we wouldn't have that reinforcement from the other chickens reacting to it. They don't know. They don't care. Poor chickens. But the scene before we see Edwina get murdered is when they have all the chickens line up in a row, and Mrs. Tweedy has a clipboard with all the chickens on there. They're numbered. I forgot what numbers were on there. I don't even, was it in the 300s?
I think, yeah, it was 200 and 300s. It was in 200s and 300s.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't see that many chickens there, but I guess some of them could have been crossed off, but whatever.
What I thought is maybe it's the way they do seasons is there was like 281 would be the first chicken in room 28 or coop 28. I think that's maybe what was going on. Because, there were not 200 chickens there. There'd be a lot of chickens for 2 people to handle, probably.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you see seasons, it'll be like season 1, episode 1. And then when you get the box set or something, it'll be like episode 101 or whatever I said. 201.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's not 201 episodes here.
Yeah.
When I got the first season of South Park, it said episode, like, 101, 102, 103, 104. And I was like, I was like, there's 100 episodes of South Park I haven't seen. But no, that's just the season number.
That's funny.
Yep. I was probably like 8 or 9 when I got the first season of South Park.
That's too young to be watching South Park, but okay. But anyway, these chickens are lined up. She has them on the clipboard numbered. And then we have this little interaction between Ginger and the big red hen. What's her name? Bunty.
You know who she was played by?
Who?
The pink lady in Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah.
Umbridge?
Oh
my gosh, that's hilarious. I would have never guessed that.
I know.
That's hilarious.
I wouldn't have either.
But we have this little cute scene where she's like, I laid 5 eggs this morning. Like, she's so excited. She laid 5 eggs. Ginger's like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's just get through this. And then, Mrs. Tweed is walking, and we have this, like, big emphasis on her boots, taking a step, very, like, military-like. And then
reinforces the labor camp, prisoner of war, Holocaust type thing.
Yeah.
Our concentration camp type thing.
Yes. And then looks down at her clipboard, and here's this chicken that has laid no eggs all week. And you're not really sure what's gonna happen here. At least I wasn't. And then they took Edwina away and murdered her. And Ginger's like, why didn't you give her any of your 5 eggs? It's like, she didn't tell anybody. It's so sad. Edwina, why didn't you tell anybody? They definitely would have given you 1 egg, so you didn't have to die. That was cute. That was a good scene. Not cute. That was a good scene. I love that scene.
Yeah. And then the other dumbass chicken's like, maybe she's going on holiday.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Nope, no, she's not.
What's up with her knitting?
Yeah, I guess that's when they're trying to give them some kind of...
Just that one, though, really.
But we have the other chicken who's got glasses. Why does she need glasses?
Because she's the smart one. She's the engineer.
But we can, we know that without her having glasses. But, okay, yeah, glasses are... I mean, what's the stereotype with knitting? That you're chill?
That she's old? Maybe she's
old?
an old chicken?
I mean, her name is Babs. That feels like an old name. And these are Brits, you know them.
Yeah, they all have old names. And she's like kind of...
Chunky?
She is chunky. They're all kind of chunky. Ginger's like the thinnest. Ginger and the nerd one are the thinner ones. But she is saying, she's like, maybe they're going on holiday. Maybe she's losing her fucking mind. She's got dementia, so maybe she's old.
Maybe she's old. Maybe that's what the knitting is trying to tell us here.
Because I did see something online saying something about the womanly kind of nature of the chickens, which obviously they're chickens, they're hens, right? So, and there's obviously, if a movie is going to be about chickens, there's going to be a kind of a matriarchal type situation, which obviously we have here. And then they said that they have some kind of feminine characteristics, like the knitting. And I was just like, well, there's just the one. And then it's kind of countered with the engineer.
Yeah.
Which they do kind of embrace that, because that's kind of a masculine chicken. It's thin and it sounds kind of like a guy. Mac, I think, and it's got kind of a guyish name.
Yeah.
And it's an engineer, kind of embraces this masculinity thing, or this maleness, I guess. So it kind of neutralizes the potential knitting being feminine, because there's not any femininity kind of anywhere else, I don't think.
No, and you even have Bunty, and she wants to fight everybody.
Exactly. That's a good point. I guess the other femininity part, which is just kind of funny, I don't know how to take it, is when Rocky shows up and they're all ready to drop their panties, man.
Yeah,
it's so...
That's true.
Which I think is just making fun of the fact that they haven't been fertilized in, God knows, forever probably,
Yeah, I mean, it's the only other male there, and the other one is Fowler, which is old
rooster.
Old rooster, and who wants that? Here we have our new young American,
yeah.
Rooster. Hello, of course. So I think that's a little far-fetched there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch.
How did you feel about that scene where Mrs. Tweety is pinching Mr. Tweety's butt because she's so...
I guess that's one for the adults, man. they sneaked that in there.
They did.
It's it is nothing, but it is kind of like, did she pinch her butt? Did she pinch Tweety's butt? It's like, okay.
And it even made like a honking sound, like a or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it was ultimately a sign of her like she was having good vibes,
Her happiness. She was
excited.
Yeah, she was happy. She was excited.
I guess that was because before that and after that, we only got her just bitterness, and she's just unhappy. And so that was with our 1 ounce of happiness out of Mrs. Tweety.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I don't even know if I noticed that as a kid.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. And then his face was so funny. He was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
That was good. That was pretty good putting that in there.
British people, man.
British people. Oh, I don't know, because in American films, I guess the version of that would be someone saying, "Oh, you're getting laid tonight." So I feel like this is, huh?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You don't think so?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's
like someone getting excited like that.
Yeah.
And trying to say something about it to their significant other.
I feel like
they
we
would say
saw
something
that.
like that.
I feel like we saw exactly that happen in another animated movie recently, like in the last 6 months, where we saw someone pinch someone's butt, and we were like, "Did they pinch?" It was not like it was just not a movie where you would expect it, and then they did it. I have no idea what movie it was. I'm thinking Shrek, but I don't think it was Shrek. Maybe Shrek 2? I don't think so. I don't think so. Was it Puss in Boots? I can't remember. I
don't know.
Maybe we'll stumble back across it.
Nothing's sticking out.
Because it's always a little funny when that kind of stuff happens. Little slick little things happen in kids' movies like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think cartoons are the main culprits to do that.
Yeah, probably exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Would you call this a cartoon?
Well, I mean, like a show. Like a cartoon show.
Oh, okay.
That kind of cartoon. Like your SpongeBob, your...
Yeah, they tend to be a little more risky. Yeah. Shows tend to be a little more risky, I think.
Yeah.
With all kinds of stuff, yeah. SpongeBob, was there pinching butts in SpongeBob?
Yeah, I don't know if there were butt pinches in SpongeBob, but there were definitely a lot of implications about Patrick and SpongeBob being...
Oh, they're definitely...
together.
Hooking up.
Especially that episode when they have the baby. The clam baby.
I know, isn't that funny?
That's hilarious.
And Patrick would be the man.
Mm-hmm.
See how many holes SpongeBob's got?
Oh my gosh. He does have a lot of holes, doesn't he?
On the on the wiki page, the picture, like the screenshot they have saved, it says, "This ain't no chick flick."
Oh, that's funny.
I think it is literally a chick flick though. That chicken that knits also has like white hair.
She's definitely old.
She's old.
Yes. Okay.
So she must have some kind of dementia too, saying everybody's going on a holiday.
Yeah, and then
when they get to at the end there, they're like, "Well, I'm gonna hate it when we have to go back." It's like, no, bitch, we're here. This is where we live now.
And then I have two favorite dialogue scenes, and one of them involves her when Ginger is telling them that, don't you want, better for yourselves? Do you want to just lay eggs your whole life and then until you can't, you get killed? And then she says, well, it's a living. And then now saying this, I'm like, well, that's what old people would say. That's what an older generation would say. Yep. What's a living? What else do you want us to do? So that, you know what? It's all fitting. It's all fitting there.
And then she makes a noose at the middle point of the movie.
Oh, I know. That's hilarious.
Which is awesome. She knits a noose. I love it.
That's also a funny scene when they're all eating. When he gives them extra chicken feed and they're all eating and they're all going crazy for chicken feed. That's funny.
Was it just corn?
It looked just like pre-popped popcorn, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kernels.
They made a flying machine in this just like they did in Bug's Life.
Well, Bug's Life, they made a fake bird to scare the grasshoppers.
Yeah, that's true.
Here they made one to escape
the grasshoppers. I guess they'd be eating grasshoppers, wouldn't they?
Maybe they should eat some grasshoppers. They wouldn't be so chunky eating all this corn. That was funny too when Mrs. Tweed measured Babs's belly. She thought she was a goner. I mean, she didn't lay any eggs that week. We all know what that means now after seeing Edwina. And then she just measures her belly. And then she's like, I want them all as fat as this one. Like, dang. All right.
I didn't even think she was the fat one.
Yeah, me either.
I thought the other one was the fat one.
Yeah. Yeah, my other favorite dialogue was when Ginger says, the fences aren't just in the farm. They're in your head. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it's probably the deepest line in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it is always going to be weird when that kind of stuff pops up in children's films. Because that's a It's a deeper line than 50% of your regular ass movies that come out that are for everyone.
Yeah.
Know? Some people don't understand that there are human rights that are not globally acknowledged yet and should be, and we should give chickens rights. Let them live, obviously.
Okay. Let's give chickens rights.
Chickens' rights. Did Rocky... Oh, yeah, he did. I was going to say, did Rocky go and live with them on their island?
Yeah.
I can't believe they made it to an island. And they made houses.
Yeah, they made babies.
Well, that's not as surprising as making houses.
Who fertilized the eggs?
Rocky.
But he's with Ginger.
Oh, he's fertilizing all the eggs.
Damn.
Yeah, there's not...
I doubt it's Fowler.
Yeah, definitely not. Not Fowler. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think... I would imagine procreating and stuff is not something that comes up with, like, two chickens who are in a romantic relationship. Like Ginger and Rocky. I imagine, because he has a biological duty, as do all the chickens. So it's just... he's got to do what he's got to do.
I guess so.
I wonder how common roosters are to chickens.
How what?
Common roosters are to chickens. To hens.
What do you mean?
Because, there's about 50% male and female human beings.
Oh.
It's pretty close. I wonder if it's that close in chicken world.
I doubt it. Something tells me there's more hens than roosters.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's artificially made so by us.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Do we eat rooster?
I'm sure we do. I'm sure we eat rooster. Kind of like cows. Who gets cows pregnant? Bulls?
Humans.
Well, I think this is where we stop that conversation. And
they're artificially inseminated.
Thank you for listening. All right, tell me about this. Tell me about how much this movie made.
How much do you think it cost?
Look, I have no idea for the 2000s. A claymation seems not that expensive.
Well, this movie took 1.5 years to make.
Holy fuck, well.
Because the claymation was... Claymation, it's tough work. Claymation's way harder than normal animation. Especially 3D animation. It's way harder than 3D animation.
Idea. I initially put 15 million, but now I gotta think about it. But no, 15 million.
It took about 45 million.
Holy fuck.
Which is still not very much, I don't think. It's probably because Brits don't require all the shit that Americans would require. They work a little cheaper.
You said 45 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to start aiming higher on these budgets.
Yeah, animated stuff.
It just seems like it'd be cheaper.
It's not.
Because there's like less fixing people's mistakes. Like humans' mistakes. I guess human actors' mistake. There's still humans working on this.
Yeah.
But it's just so labor intensive that I forget to include that.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, at least guessing helps me think about stuff.
Yeah. This movie went on to make 227 million. Very good for the time. For an animated film at the time, that's very good. Shrek would obviously, destroy that number as far as DreamWorks films go later.
Yeah, Shrek is like the year after, right? It's like 2021.
Yeah, I think so.
2001.
2021, yeah. Yeah, it is 2001.
Like, good for them. They had a good hit with Chicken Run. Then they had Shrek.
And Shrek 2.
And then Shrek 2.
And then eventually Madagascar. And then it kind of fell flat with them until, I guess, now with Puss in Boots. Because Despicable Me, Pixar kind of tapered off there. And then Despicable Me stuff just took the mantle. And now I guess Illumination went on to make the Mario movie, which is now the highest grossing animated movie of all time. So Illumination's kind of king now. If you ask me.
Well, good thing no one asked you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Disney, they lost their grip on that because they had it hardcore in the 90s.
Yeah.
With 2D animation, and then it seemed like they were gonna have it with Pixar, and it just didn't really go anywhere. At least as far as some of their other projects like Marvel and Pirates of the Caribbean. It just kind of fell flat, which is just kind of crazy because you would think animation would be easy money because of kids. You know, it just seems like that would go hand in hand, but it just not as much as you think, especially today because there's so many man children out there or woman children, you know, old children who love little kid things now and cutesy things.
Yeah.
But times are just not. I mean, the numbers don't lie. People just don't give a shit about most animated stuff, especially Pixar right now, with the exception of Mario, of course. Mario is probably one of those movies where people saw multiple times, I would imagine. Right? I would imagine, right? Or just kids carrying that? Or is it, I mean, is it everyone carrying that?
I think it's just everyone, because everyone I know went and saw it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's just my family, but they all went and saw it.
It's a big deal, though. You know, if your whole family goes and sees it, you're like, oh, shit. Because then, like, in the movie world, you know, it's not like, I feel like your family's a better little tiny demo versus your friends. You know, it's likely that your friends are into the same thing. Like, as far as like movies or video games or music. Well, maybe not music, but movies and video games, I think, especially because people build friendships around things like that. And maybe books too. Maybe not books. It's a little more personal and intimate. But
yeah, with your family, you have a wide age group and personalities and yeah.
Age group especially, I think, is important. And they all want to see it. It's awesome. Yeah. Chicken Run. I hadn't probably seen it in 22 years or so. Probably. It's probably been over 20. I mean, wait. How old am I? It's been 17 or so years. I haven't seen it. When's the last time you seen Chicken Run?
I'm guessing maybe back in, before 2010.
Okay, so at least
like 13 years, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for the next one. Serendipitous that we did this at this point, and we can prepare our minds for the Dawn of the Nugget.
Yeah, Netflix knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised it's a Netflix movie because of the Wallace and Gromit guys. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense. I wonder how DreamWorks is working with that, unless that's just maybe the Wallace and Gromit creation, the Shaun of the Sheep ones are some kind of partnership with DreamWorks, maybe. I'm not sure. But a cool movie.
I'd probably give this a 3.
A 3?
Very solid, yeah.
Yeah, that's respectable. I probably give it a 2.
A 2?
Yeah. And it's kind of weird. I was saying that it was kind of weird to place this one because it's so much better than a 1.5, but it didn't speak to me enough to hit that 2.5 number, so it's just hard to fault it down to anything lower than a 2. So
I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe if it would have taken a stance on some of these things, it would have been a little better. Not better, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe if there
spoke to you.
If there's a little more death, maybe.
Yeah.
If Ginger sacrificed herself, maybe.
Yes.
That meant something to that. Or if there was some kind of consequence from Rocky being a liar, maybe he really got out scot-free.
Yeah, he lied the whole time and got the girl. Come on.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very feel-good movie.
It's a feel-good movie. Yeah. So, I mean, as far as that goes, it's probably a little surprising hearing it that high for just being a feel-good movie for me, because I don't like feel-good movies.
Yeah, you don't feel good.
Yeah, I don't like feeling good. I don't like happy shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for recommending this movie, and thank you for requesting the cover at least, and thank you for watching this film with me.
No problem. Thank you for letting me pick this movie. I have very little freedom here in picking movies.
That's not true.
Yeah, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Get ready for the sequel.
All right, you guys. Thanks for listening and take care.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmsteins signing off.
Ooh, that was rough.